establishing operations report and amending pay-as-you-throw ordinance. Under the new business, we're going to talk about the planning commission with Mike Slattery and Sid Smithers to do with requesting additional funds, and the employee evaluations for discussion under new business. Old business, town administrator position, and Tannery land access. What's your pleasure, guys?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Anything to be added? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Approvals of the minutes of 9/21 public hearing.
So moved.
That was for renaming the road.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 I abstain, I wasn't there.
Okay. Our regular meeting on 9/21, approval of the minutes.
So moved.
So moved, or, second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ronnie, you weren't there.
You abstain.
Stay.
Special meeting, 9/28/17. Approval of the minutes. It's when we did the budget stuff,
Move to approve.
Second.
right? Got a second? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I abstain from that one. Warrants. Bear with me, guys. Got a few. Payroll ending 9/29/17, $7,238.41. Payroll ending 10/6/17, $7,977.91. Payroll ending 10/13/17 in the amount of $8,278.62. Accounts payable ending 9/29/17 in the amount of $254,536. Yeah, $254,536. A little bit difference there, folks. Let me see what the big things were. I didn't remember here. Thought I put them in here. Guys have gone through this. One was for a bond, and the other was for the culvert, right? $81,940.50 for a bond, $145,525 for the aluminum box culvert that went on the other road. Those are the ones that make up the most of that. Accounts payable ending 10/06/17 in the amount of $16,836.12. Big on that. Accounts payable ending 10/13/2017 in the amount of $12,359.90. What's your pleasure, guys?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion on any of them? All those in favor say aye.
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 Mail. The mail. We have a letter from a concerned citizen to do with Hidden Valley Road, where someone is supposedly starting a repair shop. I went and saw this person, and he basically is working on his own vehicles or with his friends working on their vehicles. There's not running a repair shop. There's no money being exchanged. And I told him that he needed to quiet down and not do it late in the evening. Okay. And let's see, I got the Bennington County Sheriff Office in their report. Basically, they've, it's for the patrol, 78 hours officers was the total assignments, 2 hours officers in the court. I don't know if I had this single sheet with this one. That we usually get, but that's where that is. Okay. We also have a letter that was drafted, I don't know if everybody saw it yet or not, to do with sending to the Pownal School District are concerned to do with the Pownal Center Old School. Has everybody seen this and read this? Were they in agreement? And take a motion to pass it on to the school?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The BCRC is sending us a request to do with their economic development services in Bennington County. They have what they, Bennington County Industrial Corp., I assume, is what they're talking about here. BCRC Economic Development work broadened considerably last year when our region Economic Development Corp., the Bennington County Industrial Corp., contracted with us to implement its mandate to support regional business development and economic growth. And that sort of sums up what it is. And then they're charging a fee to the various towns. And Pownal is being charged a flat rate similar to Rupert, Stamford, and Sunderland of $1,000. So you know what the is. And that's for the services from that BCRC to do with economic development. Okay. I also have in front of me is the Vermont Agency of Transportation request for reimbursement. This is to do with the blacktopping on Jackson Cross Road. Basically, the total project cost is $26,933.71, and we're asking for $20,800. What's your pleasure, guys? Sign this?
Move to sign it.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Yeah, we all have to sign this, folks, so I'll send it down the line. Just have to sign the one page, right, Linda?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. While that's going down the line, we have a Vermont Agency of Transportation Department of Motor Vehicle Uniform Municipal Excess Weight Permit for Pownal. This is for Jeff Miller, and he has listed his trucks, and Joel has signed off on it. What's your pleasure, guys?
Move to sign it.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Linda, you're up. Administrative Assistant Report.
Okay, as a follow-up to the gravel discussion at the September 21st board meeting, I located the survey of the town's land on Maple Grove Road as requested for the road foreman's use. The sheriff's department had the parked trailer removed from the warehouse parking area as requested. The tree work at the town office was completed on October 3rd. Dave Dents will try to make it to a board meeting in the near future to discuss the cemetery assessment that he did with the CDC class. The highway department removed a storm-blown tree from Jackson Cross Cemetery. The mowing individual reported a tree was down and that it had damaged a headstone. That's part of our concern for our cemetery over here is the headstones. The town is in receipt of the VLCT safety grant reimbursement in the amount of $2,012. The town is also submitted for Class 2 paving reimbursement in the amount of $20,800 for Jackson Cross and the Strohmeyer Road small culvert and ditching project in the amount of $14,200. There is a total of 4 open grants with 2018 completion dates that we're still working on. I boxed up the senior records that were turned over to the town and delivered them to Pownal School District. In the meantime, Betty Burdick received confirmation from the Secretary of State's office that their status has been terminated. I've been working on Pownal's traffic ordinance. Sheriff Chad Smith is currently reviewing it for inclusion of the excess weight enforcement. Sergeant Joel Howard has completed the required training for the excess weight enforcement, and Chad noted that there's not going to be a charge for that because it's going to be a service that will be county-wide now. The office server and computers have arrived. Chuck Watson has been busy with the installation. Computers are under the table. I think tomorrow he'll be here to at least try to get maybe one up and going. He's spent a lot of time on the server. It's renewal time for the town's insurance policies. I've been working on the renewal applications. And the office carpets have been scheduled to be cleaned on Friday, October 13th. Office staff has been notified to remove items on the floor at the workstations. So hopefully, we'll clean it up a little bit again, sanitize them.
Good.
And that's what I got. Any questions?
I just have a question. Where are we on the process for the reclassification of the roads to Renner property and?
Okay, the board has to formally make that motion that we're going to actually move forward with that and pick out a date to go do an inspection as a group.
So we need to put that on a future agenda?
Or when do you want to go, you know? We were actually going to have 1 week this month. Is Darcy planning anything, or do we have that week where we can actually do something like this?
It's too soon to know if we have a meeting at the plant. We're scheduled for one.
What we know tomorrow, or next week, I mean?
I could.
Find out from her. Yeah, I'm just thinking that it'd be better if we did it like because it's getting dark, if we had a regular meeting at 6, just to go inspect these roads, what we have to do.
I thought we had decided we didn't need to go because it was just Renner and Levino.
Well, the official
You have
procedure, you
to
Oh,
go
have,
by the official
part of- okay.
procedure.
yeah, and you have to document that
You
you
have to
went.
document what you've seen.
Do we have to notify
criteria.
Lavino?
We'll
There's
have to
a-
notify Levino the minute you're gonna take and, make a motion to get rid of it, yeah.
Can you give us a copy of the procedure so we know?
Anything else?
I had one question on the damaged headstone. What do we do there? Do we notify the,
If we know who the person
I
is, it
don't
can
know
be notified.
who,
I don't know if we
no
turn that over to
no
our
one has come
insurance?
to the office. It was just reported that the
Okay.
one was, until that happens.
Is it broken or
I'm
does it
thinking,
knock it
well, if
over?
we're responsible for the cemetery, I'm thinking we should.
Which cemetery was it again?
Jackson Cross.
Yeah. Is it even readable, so you can tell who it is?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, we have a lot of these stones that are
It
broken,
hasn't, no one has contacted the office regarding it at this point.
so, yeah, and I thought we had somebody inventory that and come and talk to us about tipping some up and doing some
He
things.
That was,
he
He already
did some
did that.
repairs in the beginning of the
Yeah.
season. I just wonder if we should have maybe Joel or someone go over and look at it, and if it's damaged, I think we're responsible for it. I think we should turn it over to our insurance. I mean, it's our,
Yeah, well, we
we're
have
obligated to.
well, the question I would have is if we need somebody to look at it, and we need this kid that repaired them look at it as well, because, and then see what it means and what it costs, because we have a deductible insurance. And rather report something to the insurance if it's something that can be
We have
repaired.
$1,000
Are we
deductible.
responsible for stones? We're responsible to maintain the grounds.
That's right.
That's what we are.
Sometimes you
Keep
can't
cut the
do
trees
anything to the stones without the
That's
permission
right,
of
because
the.
we got in trouble down there when a couple of good citizens tried to fix some stones down in North Pownal. And they really got chewed out for that.
Yeah.
I told them, you get out of here, get away from there, that's none of your business. So I'd check in and see, because first of all, of course, the insurance company would know, I presume. We responsible for headstones? I
They'll
think
tell
we're
you.
responsible to keep it mowed, keep it cleaned up.
Yeah,
I'm not so sure we're responsible to maintain a cemetery plot.
well, we might be responsible for tipping a stone up if it falls down so we can mow and stuff, but to repair a broken stone is a different issue.
That's what I mean, we need a definition on that, as far as I'm concerned.
Ask the insurance company, see what they tell us. There is a statute that talks about the town is responsible for cemetery. The question is, what does that statute say beyond that? I don't know. You can pull that statute too, Linda, then we can take a look at that. But there is a statute, I know because they're talking about abandoning another cemetery in town, and it automatically falls where the town is responsible by statute to maintain a cemetery, so.
For maintaining the grounds, I
Well,
agree with that.
Well, we'll
But as
read the
far as-
statute.
I wanna see a statute that says that we gotta maintain stones.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna say that. I think it says we have to maintain them. I don't think it's a long, detailed statute, but we'll get it and we'll look at it. What else?
I just have one other question, Linda. I know, Mr. Watson's working on the computers. Do you know where he's at with the telephones? Is that next?
It's next. He really just needs to do one at a time here. One copier representative was here, I believe, it's the same company that,
Simquest, yeah, I
yeah.
talked to Mike at the college. They don't carry the Kyocera anymore, but there's some new,
he's putting together a quote. He came down, took a look at what our needs were.
yeah, he said he knew Chuck, so good.
How about the
Yeah,
alarm system?
He's working.
He's gonna
he knows,
handle that?
He's handling all of
Perfect.
that.
Good, if you could just keep us updated on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
the,
think I know it's gonna take him at least 2 or 3 weeks here with the computers. And it's very difficult and very disruptive trying to do it during open hours, office hours. But
I think there's some grant summary here looks real well. It looks very good too.
I like that.
Yeah, thank you for that. How is he gonna, with all the boxes under here and everything, how's he gonna shampoo the carpets on Friday with
tomorrow we
everything?
have to,
Put 'em
we
up on
have
a
to
table.
put everything up, everything. So he'll do what he can here tomorrow and then,
Yeah. Too bad we didn't give him a chance to get it done before we scheduled the shampooing, but
But,
nobody knew when they were coming for sure. And there's been issues in the office lately with quality of air.
yeah,
So everybody's just a lot of sneezing and headaches, and we just felt that maybe if we tried to shampoo and sanitize the carpets again, that it might help.
did you change the filter in the air conditioner?
Oh, Tom cleaned them.
Yeah,
They were pretty
It took,
nasty.
I knew they looked pretty
Both
bad
of
the
them
day I
were.
opened
this,
them.
Yeah.
the Julie's was about that thick with dust. I mean, that can be an awful lot of it.
Yeah.
This one was dirty, that one was filthy. So
Okay.
I took them out,
Yeah, I
washed them
opened
out.
this one when Linda was talking to me about the problem, and I closed it immediately because when I opened it, it just blew all the stuff out.
Yeah, well, this is something that I think that the next cooling season should be put on a regular
maintenance.
basis. Every 2 weeks or 3 weeks. There's a lot of people drag a lot of stuff in here and everything, and it really needs to be addressed. And it really, it's simple to do. I just took it out here to the outside hose bib, rinsed them off, tapped them dry, put them back in, and then it worked. But they were blowing a lot of dirt around. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah,
They were overloaded.
well, on our list.
thank you.
Anything else? Any other questions? What's that? Fine. Transfer station.
Okay. On time this time, huh? All right. Well, we had our organics are going along pretty well. We have more and more people using them. I even had an individual approach me yesterday about bringing a deer carcass. I said, well, if you cut it up small enough, we can get it in here nice and neatly. I said, that's fine, because they'll take them. They'll take them, the hides and everything. Which is better than having people throwing them all over the roads and stuff too. And they come in on Thursdays and take them. Unfortunately, a couple of weeks ago, the guy that comes in on Thursdays to take them locked his lock inside our lock, and I couldn't get it open. I have the combination. I had to cut the lock and get another chain and so forth. But we got it working, and I cleaned their lock up for them, and it's working fine now. But we had to do that. But that's just a little glitch in the program. But after 10 minutes of trying to open their lock, I said that's enough. I had bolt cutters in the truck, so we fixed it up. Our e-cycles, we did well. We received $420 in recycling here. We have actually, we have 7 Gaylords now that are full and 3 partially filled. So we're getting ready to ship out another one probably in another couple weeks, and I have some work to do. Some people dropped some more off, and I didn't have time to put them away on Wednesday. They came in quite late in the day. So those will have to be taken care of tomorrow. So we will be in pretty good shape as far as that. Our recycling, Last month, we received $1,137 in cash or credits from TAM for our recycling efforts. That include the e-cycles. We got $110 for batteries, scrap metal. We got just under 400, I think it was. And then the cardboard and paper, we're getting $41 a ton for now. But with the trucking fees, it's kind of a wash, but that's okay. I mean, I'd rather get something than nothing. And so, you know, well, last month was $275 plus. That's a $120 difference per ton for disposing of paper or throwing in the garbage. And we're having a problem here. There's too much paper going in the garbage here. Not nearly enough going into recycling. I found some garbage cans, the recycling cans actually, and then they have a little garbage bucket on. I mean, on Saturday I pulled one of the bags apart. I thought it was all recycling, and it was somebody's off of somebody's desk. It was all paper, a banana peel, and a plastic coffee cup lid. You know, so if they could just put the banana peel and stuff in this little basket that hangs on the side, and we put paper only in there, then we're taking the vast majority of the trash that comes out of here, and is going to go into it's going to go into the recycling, where we actually get paid for it. So, like I said, it's a $120 swing whether we have paper going to the trash or we have paper going to the paper, and these things are about $17 a piece plus some shipping. I was going to get 5 of them. And
Why don't you get some signs down there that lets people, remind people that they should be sorting paper and trash?
Yeah,
Then you won't be doing it. But
well, yeah.
I think the key is I think they're doing a good job at the school teaching. Now we gotta teach the adults.
Trust me. You know, I give everybody all the information they need to know about the thing, and nobody ever reads it. Say, well, I didn't read that. Well, no, I often wonder what the literacy rate in Pownal is.
Buy some nice colored signs that just tack right up where they're throwing the trash and,
Yeah.
and put on it,
Yeah,
no sorting costs you money.
yeah,
Then they'll
Yeah.
listen.
yeah. That perhaps they would, Nelson. Perhaps they
They have
would.
to realize that it's a cost.
Oh, it is. It's true. I mean, you know, I would much rather see all the cardboard, all the paper and stuff. And I'm looking there, and people are throwing boxes of stuff in, and other boxes inside those boxes, and they're paying for it.
The bottom line is we charge very little for people to throw trash away.
Exactly.
But our cost to run that facility is high.
Exactly.
We do not recover our costs at all,
No.
and we have maybe 70,000 or more that we don't recover, and it's because we're not teaching the people to recycle and
Right.
do more, and our costs will go down.
Yeah.
So
I think
their taxes might go down if they were able to recycle a little more. It's just,
Well, I'll put it to them that way. Maybe they'll listen to that.
well, that's the only
Yeah.
thing.
Put that sign.
Yeah. Well, what I like to do is get 2 larger trash cans for here. One, I'll pick it up one here, leave one on Saturday, take the other one down, and he can put the garbage in one garbage bag, the commingle in another little bag or something, and then all the paper in the thing. Then I'll dump that. Then the next week I'll bring that and just trade them off. I don't have the time to go through all this stuff and resort it to pull everything out, but we're literally throwing away a lot of money here by not recycling. And besides that, it is
Okay,
the
so
law.
you're talking about the town office?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, what we can do here.
yeah,
To help.
it's here and elsewhere. The bottom line is that Tam knows how to do this. He dumps it on the floor and sorts it because he
Right.
knows how to make money,
Exactly.
right? And I
Yeah.
think we need to get that out to the people that understand that sorting means
Right.
money.
But I try to tell them, you know, when I'm down there and I'm helping the people and so forth, like yesterday, you know, a lady came in and, you know, her husband just passed and he had taken care of the stuff. It was one of my neighbors actually. And I said, oh, this is what we have to do here. And I helped her sort the stuff out. And we talked about it. I said, see, you had a whole truckload of stuff and you really didn't have much to pay for. She only had a bag. She had like a 39-gallon bag, and her truck was loaded, but most of it was cardboard, recyclable stuff, and some stuff we couldn't take because it was household hazardous waste. I had to send it back. and we'll take it, I'll work with her in the spring and get it, because she doesn't have the ability to take it. I'll help her, because she's my neighbor and stuff.
My dad used to say you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
That's a fact,
So
Yeah.
we can train him.
yeah. Another thing in here is the toner cartridges. You know, we're paying, $79 a ton. The toner cartridges, you might be two of them in a box. Maybe it's a couple pounds, but you do that all the time and all the time and all the time. It just keeps adding. The toner cartridges are all recyclable. You pull them out. There's a return label in the box. You put the empties back in there. You put the label on. You tape it up. And when UPS comes, they take them.
Not all of them.
Well, most of the ones I've
I throw mine away at
seen.
the office all the time because they won't take them.
Sorry,
You
Tom,
don't-
it's not as simple as
not
trying
all
to
of
make
them.
it
Really?
sound.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not all of
I've
them.
done mine and it's worked.
Because I can't understand why they're not recyclable. And
I mean, they have a return label.
Nope.
Oh, they don't have return labels.
And it's simple.
Well, most of them, the ones I've
Return
gotten.
label, anything. It's a
Everything
plastic bag
I've
where you
gotten
put
has.
it in and you throw it in the garbage.
Oh, well, then that's the way it goes. We have to.
Well, there's companies that will send you return bags. They don't come
Yeah.
when you buy the cartridges, because we do it at work for a lot
Yeah.
of the printers. You don't get what you're saying. When you buy the
Yeah.
toner, it doesn't come. But if
Most-
you work with those companies, they'll send you stuff, and we put them in boxes and send them back.
Yeah, and I know the ones that I get, mine are Brother. So
Right.
my printer copier is at the office over here. They come with the recycled, the labels and stuff on there.
And those
And,
color printers have like 6 or 8 cartridges.
Yeah, yeah. Now I have speaking of labels, our batteries, the call to recycle, they got into a mess with FedEx, and all our boxes have FedEx return labels. And this Rob guy down in Atlanta, and he's been trying, but for some reason he cannot get an email to me that's worthwhile. He's supposed to be sending me return labels for UPS. So I don't have any labels. I've got a full box. I'll wait till I get them. I got a place to store them for now. But I mean, these are heavy boxes and so forth. But unfortunately, I have to take them to Staples. So, and I'll just wait on going to Bennington someday, and I'll just put them in the truck and stuff, and
Yeah, I say, they'll take all your toner cartridges. You probably should have a container that says toner cartridges somewhere on the way.
Well, I could do that.
Then you won't be paying for the tonnage, because they do weigh.
Oh, they weigh.
Yeah.
They certainly
That
do.
way there, you just bring them back.
If I was slick enough, I'd stick them with the e-cycles, but that really wouldn't be fair to them either. So I'm not going to do that, because we do get paid for those. But I wouldn't do that to them.
Okay.
Yeah, they're
Do
pretty
they do
good.
pay you by the weight?
Oh yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's 8 cents a pound.
Yes.
All right, and okay, the next thing was the VLCT, and as Linda said, the grant that we wrote, we did get the $2,012 from. The vast majority of that was stuff for Darcy. They got some pretty expensive things, but they needed them, gas sniffers and safety harnesses and ropes and stuff like that. The highway department got the cameras, and I don't think we got much of anything.
Well,
but-
when do we reapply for the next year? Is it after July 1, or is it a January type thing when we apply to this company?
I'd have to look at it, but I don't have anything really that qualifies that I can apply for right now.
Maybe the other ones do still yet. Maybe we've
Yeah.
only got.
Well,
part of it.
I'll talk to Joe, and I'll give Darcy a call and see
Yeah,
if
if
there's-
it's free money and we
Yeah,
need things,
see-
we ought to be.
we can't duplicate it. Once we get it for one thing, that's it. That's off the board forever.
Yeah, that's a scratch. Yeah.
You know.
Because you
So,
already got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we already got it.
The alarm system, that may fall under that too. If we decide to put an alarm system in this building and the highway building.
Yeah, because it's something for the insurance side.
It's a
Yeah.
lot to do with loss
Yeah. So
prevention.
Yeah,
first
that
we need to know when we can apply again, and then we need to give some thought on what fits into that bundle.
I'll look at the stuff I have in the file back in my office.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. The barrier's been changed to requested heights. The shelves were supported. And I mentioned this to Nelson. The the tires were supposed to be picked up today. I called July 5th to have them picked up, and they hadn't done it. And finally yesterday I called, and I was a little rip-roaring. I was I lost my civility to a degree. I said, I need to speak with Bob. It's Bob's tires. I said, I need to speak with him. I said, this has been a quarter of the year past, and you haven't picked them up. So they gave me the dispatcher, and he's the guy that sets it up. So I talked to him and said, how about tomorrow? I said, fine. I'm working in Williamstown. Gave him my cell number. You call me, I'll get up there. Well, I came up at lunchtime. Well, they got to be here pretty directly. So I called the guy, and he said, aren't they there yet? I said, no. He sent them to Pownal.
To the Pownal.
So I will wait and call him tomorrow morning and find out when we're going to get the tires pulled out. You know,
What,
I mean,
what state were you talking to?
this is Massachusetts, out near the Cape. These guys took a big ride for nothing, I think. I'm serious.
You gotta have that
Nice day
Boston
for a ride.
accent.
Yeah, I think, I can hardly understand the guy anyway. He mumbled a lot. But so what I'm suggesting is once we get them removed, we have a wonderful machine. They'll knock down that building. It won't take much to knock it down, and I'd like to replace it with one of those one-trip shipping containers. They've just made one trip across the ocean. The one I looked at's out of Rhode Island. It has doors on both ends. So simply partition it off in the middle, put the tires on one side, oils, maybe batteries, and or both even. I could even partition off some more just to put the
Why
other ones
wouldn't
in.
you just buy one and put tires in it, then have them pick it up and then haul it away and bring it back?
I don't know if they would do that. I'd have to talk to this guy to see if they would do that.
Because usually they had the trucks, they just picked up those containers
But
up.
we don't have a way to lift that up on the dollies. That's,
We don't have that, can't imagine we have that many tires, but that sounds like a good idea, I think.
I mean, so much. It's 60. It's under 6,500. Now we have to buy a couple things and do some concrete, but we need some other concrete work done too. I need to build a ramp in the back of the building and stuff. So
I think you'd be better off to buy two 20-footers,
That's what I'm
and
thinking.
you can move them. And it'll actually, I think it'll be cheaper.
well, I don't know
'Cause
if
I buy
a 20-footer would hold all the tires we have right now.
Well, you gotta have them pulled.
But you can, if you weave them, you can put a lot of tires in a 20-footer.
Yeah.
You can if you throw them
Well, I'll
in.
take a look and see what we got.
But
Well, hopefully it won't be there tomorrow. Hopefully we got it rid
you
of.
can get them
How long-
containers right here in Pownal.
But we're
How long you been accumulating what you got there now? Is that a year's worth?
yeah.
Yeah.
So if you
Yeah,
did it every
and
6
this
months, a
isn't
20-footer probably.
yeah, this isn't as bad as last year because last year they had all that stuff when they did Indian Massacre Road. They brought 140 tires or something out of that, plus everything else we got 200 tires on Green Up Day.
I'm just thinking,
Pretty close to it.
to go through all the trouble of building dividers and doing it.
Well, it's
Like you
just-
said, if you buy two, you use
Yeah.
one for one purpose and one for the other, and you put the signs on the doors, people know what they're doing, and, no, I think,
And you
Well,
can move a 20-footer,
we,
but you can't move a 40-footer when it's loaded.
I don't really want to move them when they're loaded. I
But I
don't
mean,
think. I
if
don't
you
think.
need to, you can.
You just
Well,
wanna use it for.
Well, I want to use them just for storage. Don't come in, pull them out, and throw them on the truck and haul them out of there. That doesn't.
the
That
thing that
doesn't
gets
bother
me
me.
is the 40-footer and you're on either end. You're
Yeah.
coming this way, you're gonna set it where?
Well, then I get
how
a
you
30.
gonna-
Then what I do is I get a 30 for the
Yeah.
tires. I really think I need that much.
Yeah, well, that might be what you need to do. I would look separating the stuff, because as you say, been a year and you've been trying to get this guy to come. You're better off
Yeah.
having, I think, a little extra, and then,
Yeah.
do the other.
Well, I think I have the right number now to get
We used to
things
have
moved.
them-
But
There's nobody we can get that will come more often.
I looked around and tried to find people, and it's very, very difficult to find somebody to take
It's hard
tires.
to get somebody who'll
Very, very
dump.
difficult.
This
I mean,
guy gave us the best deal,
and he did too.
period.
Yeah, by far.
Yeah,
But
Stephanie used to have
you know,
it.
and our pricing on the tires is based upon what he's charging us. So, I mean, you know, it is what it is. We're pretty well.
It's good
stuck
when
with
we
him
can
for
break
that.
even.
Yeah, if we can,
Yeah.
depends on what the other ones get.
So what's the board think? What are you recommending them to
I
do?
think we should go with Tom's recommendation.
But get a 30, 230s.
Whatever you look it over, you know the space, you know how
Well, I
we're
mean,
doing,
230
how we're
230
handling them, you know
would-
how many we need.
Yeah.
The step amount of space.
230,
figure it out.
230s would be fine. You know,
Yeah,
but
well,
I
I'm-
definitely.
Yeah, what I'm looking at is when people drive in, I want them so that they can drive up in front of them and do it, that they don't have to walk around or anything.
Well, I just assume that they put them out front and we'll put them back in there. I don't want people going back in them just for the simple fact that they'll start rooting around. I had that whole thing perfect. It was nice, and then they started, people get in there and start looking for tires and they never put it back and it's a mess. I really don't want them in it, seriously. We can put them in there. Or I'll go up there and help them, but I don't want, people going through, oh, that looks like a tire I could use now. And they rip up the pile.
Yeah, then you don't get as much in.
Yep, and that's what we
I think
get
you'll
back.
find that 20-footers and 40-footers are cheaper than 30.
I'll take a look.
Take a look.
I'll
and
take a
see.
look. I'll send Linda an email and she can pass it on to you guys.
Yeah, yeah.
But if we get them
I
out of
just think
there,
that you better keep things separate, that's all.
yeah. And then we just need to keep them up off the ground. So basically what they were recommending was using 6x6s. Set them down where they have 2 points, on each end, and you run a 6x6 across there. And
Well,
That's
what
what
I
it is.
worry about is this, you're talking about what are you storing on one side, batteries and other hazardous type stuff? And on one side you wanna store tires, is that the way you were gonna do this, if you divided it?
yeah, I was gonna do oil.
Yeah,
I
my
was gonna
concern
do
is that's to me, is like a fire hazard. When you start putting stuff like that catch fire, you got tires, you'll never put that out. You're the fireman, but I would want 2 containers just for safety reasons.
It's fine.
Okay.
I don't care what
Good
size
figure.
they are, as long
Yeah.
as I just don't
Well, I
want,
definitely think we need a 30-footer for tires. I don't think a 20 is gonna.
well, maybe you need 30 and a
Yes.
20.
That's,
And maybe you can get the.
That's what I'm
price.
thinking. I mean, if I had one that I could put I could actually, if I had a 20-footer, I could put the batteries in one section, and then because that doesn't take very much room. They don't take much room, but the oil takes a lot.
Yeah.
The oil takes a bit. And that thing we have now, it's just
So you know how
jammed.
people are out there. You don't want to create a.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll take a look. I'll take a look at getting to
Let
those.
us know, thanks.
Yep. All right. Now we're going to go to the Solid Waste Alliance. The meeting on September 13th, we passed the budget, and ours for 18-19, and our share is $17,054.04. This is the high-end figure. We've never approached it since we started on this new SWIP for Act 148, since we got that approved.
Okay, where did we start and how far have we gone up on this?
We started at 18,000 or 19,000.
All right, so we're going down, the other, I just want to
Down,
know.
but now I think that actually that's gonna go back up a little bit. But like I said, these budget figures, Michael's doing a great job of getting grants and so forth, helping to pay for a lot of this stuff, and our contribution, I don't even think it's been half, or maybe just a little more than half of this per year. So, but this is what we have to budget for, just for the simple fact that if we don't get any grants, this is what it's gonna cost us. For the education and everything else that we need to do.
But what I'm hearing is that the budget line isn't increasing, is what you're saying. If anything, it's.
Not this year, but I think it does next year. Because of certain things that this Act 148 are kicking in. Everything's starting to kick in until you get up to 2020. So, and Michael's taking care of that. That's why we're lucky to be in an alliance, because we'd have to have somebody really on top of us. It costs us a lot more than this.
So we can thank the state for passing this legislation.
Oh, I've thanked our representative many times for that. Yeah, he's heard that from me before.
All right.
Now-
Just no grants dry up after a while.
Yeah, well, you can't tell what's going to happen. The way Washington is, you don't know what's going to
Way to-
come down the pike for anybody. You just don't know. Things right now are
well, the
really
state-
in limbo.
well, the state's big in the hole.
Yep. Now we have the pay-as-you-throw ordinance. What was happening is the original one that we did, we thought that's what the state really wanted, but it's just way too much time for the haulers to fill out all the stuff for what they're doing in each town and everything else. So we're going to do more of a quarterly instead of a monthly thing. And they came to us, Tam did, and brought his I think it was his accountant with him. And it really, we didn't need that much information, you know, in that timely basis. You know, later on, yes, but, you know, we don't need it monthly. So this is what this is what we're trying to amend here in order to make it easier and better for the haulers,
Okay.
really. You know, so I have that sent, I filled it out with the contact information, sent to Linda. She thought that everything was okay. And then we have the things on it being warned and everything else that we need to do, and the dates and so forth. So, and there's a lot of sites there about the legislature for doing the thing. So it is on this one here, September 20th. The BCRC from September 20th. And you go back to the third page, it's part one is amending the ordinance. And this gives you some of the information on it. Then you go back to part two,
Should
and
be
it's a
in your
draft.
folder, guys.
It's a draft of it, and so forth on how to warn them and stuff. And then we have the other one on the things that has all of
Okay, rather than,
Linda's information and stuff as a contact person and everything. So that's what we're doing with that.
so you need a motion from the board to warn this, is that what we're
Yes,
talking?
yes, please.
You need a motion from the board to adopt the amendment.
Have we warned a hearing, or you're saying we're adopting it?
You adopt it and then you put it all in the paper,
Okay.
notification.
What's your pleasure, board? You wanna take a week and read this before you do it, or do you wanna do it now?
It's just gonna change our dates,
I know,
but it's okay.
I'm just asking the board what they feel they wish to do.
It's okay to wait a week.
What has changed and what is the things that is different from the
I
last one?
think it's listed in the earlier part of it, is what they're doing. But basically, it's, to tell you the truth, I'm not exactly sure where it is either. But it's on a quarterly basis. It's Article 6. Part 1, Article 6. The requirements for and reporting on quantities of municipal solid waste, organics, mandated recyclables collected on a quarterly basis is repealed. And what they're doing is they're gonna do an annual basis. Because they have those numbers. They have to have those for the state on an annual basis. They don't need all these other
And
ones.
that's the only change from the original?
That's the only change. Well, that, plus I put the Bennington County Sheriff's Department because, as the enforcement.
Yeah.
Because when we first did it, we didn't really have anybody at the time. We were kind of in limbo with the constable and what was gonna happen. So we really didn't put that in, but I inserted that in there too. All right?
Okay, so the change is basically it's Article 7.
Right.
And all these other towns are doing this too, or all
Yeah, we all have to do it.
Everyone in the.
We all have to do it because of the solid waste implementation
Our
plan.
part is in part 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
I move to sign it.
As I say, everybody understand the change? Got one motion to,
I'll second it.
Your motion is to adopt the
yeah.
amended
Adopt.
ordinance.
Correct.
Any questions on it? Or y'all? All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed, abstentions? Aye.
My last thing with the Solid Waste Alliance is the household hazardous waste, which went very well on September 30th up in Dorset. I volunteered to help because I had to go up there anyhow.
Yep.
And Keith Squires from Arlington did, but they told him not to come because they had a AmeriCorps volunteer up there, and she came, and it was very nice, and she did a great job, and asking the questions and getting the data and so forth. And we found that, of course, most of the people were from the Sunderland, Dorset, we had one from Glastonbury. I went out of the 7 people that lived there or whatever came. But, it was well run. And I got a chance to talk to Dave again from Clean Harbors. And I did mention about the oil tank and so forth. And we were both really, really busy. He said, well, give him a call, later on, and we'll see about getting that tested. I'm just going to take a look at it first, see what I can get out of it, and we'll go from there. But so it went well. It was freezing. It was raining the whole time. It never stopped. It was just a miserable day. But on that one, because we run it, the one down here, Casella's run, I was taking donations, and it was amazing how benevolent the people were. We were getting 10, 20s, some of the people were coming by. They're just getting rid of a couple paint cans, but they were willing.
Glad to get rid of it.
But they were glad to get rid of it. They wanted to do it properly, and they appreciated us. And I suppose looking like a drowned rat didn't hurt either, But they probably took pity on us for that. But Michael said that last year, I don't know how much they collected this year. He said last year they got almost $800, and that goes in to help defray the household hazardous waste day up there. Because Casella's run it, we don't do it down here. So, and we talked again about how we were going to change that.
Well, you rotate it, don't you?
Yes, yeah, we have to have one South County, one North County.
Yes.
We have to have 2 in the area. It only seems fair to have one south, one north.
Yeah, fine.
The big one's down here. That's the spring one. And everybody's spring cleaning and so forth. But Stu Hurd, the town manager in Bennington, is working with us. He's a member of the Alliance also. But he's working on changing how we do the one in the spring. And I think it'll go much, much better. And I did get an apology from Dave. I guess he's one of the big wheels there for Clean Harbor and so forth because of what they did. So everything else is running really pretty well. Things are getting cleaned up. They're getting picked up on time. Tam's doing a great job. I call them, they come get it, and we're out of there.
Okay.
And we got the chains and stuff up that he wanted. All the other stuff. I have one chain to add. I was short a piece. I gotta just put another piece on. I'll do that.
And that checks off all the stuff that we were cited for?
Yep.
Okay. I noticed you didn't bring up, but we talked about it over there. What's the ditch bucket versus the narrow bucket?
Yes, I neglected that. We have a narrow bucket on the backhoe, and it's got the prongs that the teeth, pinned to it and so forth. And it just catches a lot of garbage. What we need is a grater bucket with a flat front and wider. And I'm going to look around and see maybe you know where I could get one, Bruce. I don't know if you
I
had
don't know
any
if they
idea.
got one over the garage or not.
They have a dish bucket, I think, but it's got teeth, I think.
You can weld the bar right on the teeth if you get a wide
Well, they
bucket.
did that before and it didn't work.
On a wide bucket?
Well, not a wide bucket.
This is a narrow one.
We have a narrow one. We need a.
There's gotta be somebody.
You can, this place is in Albany, I can.
Yeah.
I'll talk to Joel because he probably has a lot better feel on that than I do.
Sure.
And if we can find a used one, that's fine. Sure.
There are a lot of them around, but you gotta find out what kind of hookup you got.
Yeah, I know it's
Whether it's a quick connect or a pin.
yeah, it's a case extender hoe and stuff. I'll get the measurements and stuff on it.
I had a question for you too before we
Sure.
get done. At budget time, we talked about your pole barn.
Right. Well, this is going to be a whole lot cheaper.
Okay.
By not doing the pole barn.
We're not eliminating it completely.
Eliminating it.
Okay.
Yeah, just-
And
Just wanted
here's
to
the
make
thing,
sure this was the
the hoe sits outside. We haven't been able to put it in there. I've been afraid to put it in there, number one. And besides, we can't put it in there in the winter because it's got to sit out there because it needs plugged in. So it sits right in front of the, right in front of the office.
Okay.
We have an outside receptacle there that's on a timer, and so forth. So, we turn that, on, off, whatever. Fred's in charge of that, and we've never had problems starting it in the
good.
winter. So it works well. I think the pole barn idea, I think we can do this much, much, much cheaper, much faster. I'm gonna need some, I'll need to do some concrete work. And like I said, I want a ramp in the back of the building for Fred when he pulls up to do that parallel dumpster. You have to do that from the back. And I checked over there, there's a couple 18-inch wide I-beams over at the highway department. And I'm gonna cut those, get those cut to fit. I might talk to the local welder there, lives down Vienna Road there,
Yeah.
maybe, you know,
He's done
Rick.
work for us before, yeah.
Rick, and have him, we'll pin that into the existing wall and so forth, have it on a slope, so that when his bucket comes down and he sets up to pound it, it's on the steel, not the concrete.
Good.
And there's two of them there, and they're perfect for what we want to do. Because he can just, we'll set them right there, where he drives right up on, the bucket comes down, and it won't be busting the concrete up.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's go back and talk to Joel, see if you can get together, because I know you were talking about, and I don't know if it was you or if it was Donnie I was talking to, but talked about the teeth actually damaging our containers there.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
So let's see if we can get that fixed.
All right, well, I'll get on that. I'll get on that tomorrow. Actually, I'll see if I can get a hold of Joel in the morning and
Super.
we'll talk about it. But it's you know, and the household hazardous waste. I took stuff from the transfer station, from the highway, and from 8 other individuals in the town. I took up with me to Dorset. I told them, I said, listen, I don't want anybody driving up there. I have to go up. I've got a truck. It wasn't remotely close to being full. But we got rid of a lot of stuff for a lot of people.
And you flipped your hazardous sign that goes on your truck on the back, the little flip flap, so they know you were hauling hazardous.
No. It just looks like an old blue Tundra going down the road with a ladder rack on the top. That's all.
All right, well, thank you, Tom. We gotta
Okay.
Move on.
Yep.
Yay. Looks like we got the planning commission. Sorry to keep you guys waiting.
Not the whole planning commission, but 3 of us are here. Including Ronnie in there.
There you go.
Next time.
You're
Get it warmed up.
Yeah, that one's warmed up. Take that one. It's not cushioned now, but I got enough cushion in the bottom. I don't need one.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Guys, have a nice evening now.
Bye, Tom.
Was it something we said?
Yeah.
Should we, wait a minute? Sure. Take a 5-minute
Yeah.
break?
She'll be all right.
Are these the new computers?
Yes.
That's what I was kicking Tuesday
last
night.
night,
and-
yeah.
Oh, no, really, don't.
We won't kick them hard.
They're warranted until we hook them up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually when the minute you sign your bottom, they start ticking. Warranties. But the Dell's, is that what he bought? Dell's?
Yeah, the old
They're good.
boxes.
Dell's good. They replace stuff
Texas,
pretty
huh?
quick. They replace things quick.
Texas company.
Oh. Let's see where she put it in.
You guys have that request, the BCRC, the thing Mike Thatcher put together?
I don't have it in
For you
my,
guys.
Yeah, Thatcher put together,
It's in an email.
oh, it's in the
in
email?
an email,
why I
that's
have
right.
it.
Thanks, Linda. Okay. Aside from talking about that, what I wanted to talk about first was the public hearings that we had. I wanted to bring you up to date on those. I don't know if everybody had a chance to watch those on Cat TV or not. It was pretty exciting television. I'm surprised you didn't tune in.
I didn't realize it was on Cat TV.
No. Yeah, Cat TV, and you can go back to YouTube and type that in and watch those. So we had hearings on the 18th and 19th at the elementary school that were well attended the first night, 50, I think, plus people, and over 30 people on the second night. We had them on consecutive nights with the thought that if people had to work or something the first night, they'd have a shot around on the second night. Now, right after that, my wife and I went away for 2 weeks, and I don't get the banner, but I understand that the banner wrote an editorial that said that that it was those were contentious meetings. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think I saw that, yeah.
That's what it said. I was at one of them, I didn't see that being.
You were at the meeting sitting next to the Banner Reporter, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
The meetings were extremely courteous. People came well prepared. They had great input for the most part. We listened to each and every person, some of them 2 and 3 and 4 times. But everybody had a shot to talk about this town plan. There was no disrespect anywhere on either side. And I don't know what the Banner wrote. I'll read it at some point. Sid has said he's going to send it to me. I just want you to know that I thought it went very, very well, and so did a lot of people that sent me emails, and a lot of people that came up to me after those meetings and thanked me and the Planning Commission for hearing them out. So I wanted to straighten that out first of all. Kind of unusual. I heard Nelson that night mention that the last time we had public hearings for a town plan, I think one person showed up one night and maybe no one the second night. So it's kind of new territory, as most of you know. It's creating a lot of work for us. We took all of the notes that Julie made. My wife volunteered to help Julie and transcribed a ton of notes so that we would have everybody's comments and opinions so we could get back to, in some way, shape, or form, get back to everybody on this and make changes in the town plan, in the draft that we have, where necessary. So we then established special work sessions. We had our first one this past Tuesday. We have another one next Monday at 6 o'clock, and then we have our regular meeting on Tuesday at 7 o'clock. That'll be on the agenda too, as we continue to work through this. And I think we had a productive meeting on Tuesday night where the big concerns are housing and energy, and I would put the economy, the economic factor in there as well, and tie it back into the housing. And that was a reoccurring theme. There were other themes like recreation and things, but they're minor, they can be dealt with. And some of the people that showed up at the hearings just wanted to talk, that's all. They didn't really have, when I would end each one and say, so what is your recommendation for the Planning Commission? What would you like to see changed? And most people had some change, several people didn't, they just wanted to be heard, that's all. So, in some way, shape, or form, whether we post it on the website and show everybody where we changed it by putting it in red or yellow or however Julie would do that, and then put the comments perhaps in the margin. It was brought up to us that they wanted less mention of mobile homes and flood zones and things like that. So we've already started that work, and we've slashed a lot of the things, and we found that we could make those changes and not mess up our potential certification with the state. And we found that out by having Batcher with us from the BCRC. So, it's easy for us just to slash and change and do everything, but then we have to turn around and pass it to you guys. You have to have your 2 public hearings, and then it has to go to the BCRC and a couple of other places, and it has to pass muster there as well. So, with approval of this plan, we can then apply for our village designations, as you know. We can then get municipal planning grants again, which we can't now. We'll have special deference with the Public Utilities Committee or Commission, and it is going to lead to a ton of work. If all of you have read the draft, at the end of it is an implementation chart about that deep that's going to take a tremendous amount of work, sweeping changes to the bylaws, things like that. So that's all the good news, right? The bad news is in 2018, the energy section, excuse me, is going to have to be amended. And I'll tell you why in a second. But it will go through the same process anytime you amend or change or terminate a plan. It has to go through the public hearing process again. Same thing, up to you guys, and then the whole deal. The reason is that the state has changed all of its energy, as most of you know, their requirements on siting in particular. They want detailed siting studies that that take months to do. It involves landowners, it involves a lot of work. The BCRC is equipped to do that, and the good news is they have grants to do that. So when we go back in 2018 or 19, whenever this thing goes through, and we're able to have a plan with this energy section that we've proposed now, realizing that we have to change it soon after, BCRC has money to do that and work with us very, very closely on that. So in essence, we won't be back in front of you guys asking for more money to change the energy section. Their continued support, I think, is important, not just for your planning commission. I think it's important for the select board as well. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, as I said. There's a lot of work that, we think we've got a pretty good handle on, and, we'll look over at Michael Batcher, and he'll shake his head, no, and you can't do that because of this. And if we didn't have him there, we would have done it, sent it to him, got it back, and had to start over again on that. So, so we're asking for continued support and some dollars to, I know you heard me say this before, bring it over the finish line. But we are that close. Unanticipated extra work from the public hearings, as you know.
But it's worth doing. I mean, having gotten the public interested in it, we now owe them a response.
Well, and I'm thrilled that they're interested in it in the way that
Yeah.
most people didn't know we had a town plan before. And now some of them can almost recite it, literally.
Yep.
And people are interested in sitting on different planning, the planning commission and getting involved. I think that's the good part that's come out of all of this, by the way. Some good folks have come forward. Yeah. So anyway, you have it in front of you in that email. I mean, that's all Michael Batcher's numbers. I didn't have anything to do with putting those together. But if you look down that left-hand column, you'll see what their task is. And a big part of that task is also walking the select board through this process and being at your public hearings, as I would be, or Sid would be, or somebody would be anyway. But, they have the actual particulars at the state level if somebody asks a question that we don't know.
It's an email that I sent to Linda.
Yeah, I basically, my concern was what the timetable was. In the email, it shows it. Because one of the things is, you're asking for some money from this year's budget, but the real question that comes down to me is that we might have to budget even more money. And if we're gonna do that, we have to work on that this year's budget, which is coming up soon.
You start
you're
working
not-
on this next
Yeah.
year's budget
Yeah,
now.
well, the reason, I don't see printing costs, I don't see a whole bunch of stuff that is gonna be in addition to.
Well, I don't know if they're gonna
This is
have
just,
printing costs.
this is just BCRC.
That's just BCRC's dollars. That's,
Yeah, and I'm looking at the planning board, and the dollars that were budgeted is very low, which won't.
for
won't-
printing costs.
Yeah, well, it won't meet this, we get printing costs, it's just planning board expenses. We got $3,500 in there. So basically, what my concern is I don't wanna fall short next year's budget. This year, if we overrun, we overrun, if we go ahead and move this.
You
But
mean
what-
let me interrupt her. You're talking about the planning commission's budget right now.
Yeah.
You're not talking about extra money for the BCRC.
Well, this is
Ties-
planning commission, it's all tied together to me.
Ties together, okay.
See what I'm saying? Because I assume you might have BCRC involved again as we move forward, or are we done with that?
And let me add one other thing too, is the town pays BCRC, as you all know.
Yes, we do.
To support us. But there is no doubt that they are paid by municipalities to do real hands-on work.
Yeah.
So, and they have to go where their bread is buttered. There's no doubt. They'll help us. If we don't send them another penny, they'll continue to help us. But the help compared to what we've gotten will be sporadic.
Yeah, well, they got other people.
They're instrumental in our roads and our highway department also.
Sure.
And our grants and.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna say.
So you see it
activities.
firsthand, Jason.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
hard to believe it.
Yeah, it's hard to do it without them, and
That's
we,
right.
we found that out.
right.
The complexities of putting together a town plan in this day and age compared to even 10 years ago or so when I started on this commission is a lot more complicated. A lot more complicated.
Nelson, in answer to your question, we have not, we have not come up with a proposed planning commission budget for the
Yeah,
next year.
right.
Not yet.
Yeah, I'm just, I don't have any trouble with supporting this. What I want to do is make sure that we understand it and we budget it properly, so we don't get caught, that, you know, if I'm telling you we got 3,500, that this basically says we're about $8,000
Sure.
short from what we thought it was going to be. And I want to,
Well, good point, because then that won't include our printing costs and everything else too. So
Yeah.
if you're using our 3,500 to pay BCRC,
And don't take the planning commission.
don't take the planning
budget at
commission,
present
Joe, look at that.
And divert it to that. We want
Separate
11,000
line
new money.
item.
I know you want it in addition too.
That's
Well,
exactly
yeah,
right.
I mean, you know, and we don't have Julie here to talk about, you know, what the printing costs are. I know that she has a pretty good handle on that, or she has said so in the past. You know, we could certainly check with her, but yeah, we're gonna hit some substantial costs. in
Would you
printing
would you
this,
say that this is a capital project for the town?
Sure, yeah, I would say that. Do you want me to say that?
No, I want to know if you feel that it's something that falls in that category.
Well, yes, I mean, if you look at the things we can't do as a town without a town plan,
That's right.
I could easily categorize
It's
that
a
as
foundation for a lot of work that
yeah,
has to be done.
tremendous. Yeah, you know,
There's a reason why I asked that.
I know. You get that's why.
Capital budgets go on from year to year, right?
And we have money there,
Yeah.
considerable money, so. That's why
You
I'm
should
just.
never say considerable on television.
Well, considerable.
It was.
For our town, you know, when you're talking $40,000, that's a lot of money.
Okay.
But when you take 11,000 away from it, it goes real quick. So, but I think, you know, we need to, I have no trouble with category as a capital project. Come on, how many years have we been working on it?
100.
It's you know, it's a project that we've been working on for years. And if it's not that important, that,
It's important to finish it. It is. I mean, there it is. The
Yeah.
light at the end of the tunnel. We can see
you
it.
can actually see the
We can
light.
see it. You know, and I have to tell you, I'm encouraged by those public hearings. I'm encouraged by the communication we've had with the citizens of this town, with mobile home park owners. There has been some good stuff come out of this. Discussions of village designations where we've got business owners saying, when can we get involved in that? Where before we had it, and you know, I mean, unless you have a committee spearheading that and really, you know, saying what's available.
Well, and we don't want to lose that interest. That's why I think we need to drive ahead.
Drive
We need-
ahead.
You need to keep going, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's our
So-
intention, one way or the other, to
Well,
keep going.
and I'll pile on more, again, because of the budget we gotta put together. This is the town plan. Once that's done, there's the next section you gotta work on, which you talked about earlier, is bylaws and other sections and applying for village.
Lots
All
of-
those cost money.
Oh, lots.
And I guess when you guys do your budget, you need to prioritize what's your next thing and what you think the budget's gonna be. If it's really village
Yeah.
designation and you need grant money and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and you're not gonna get grant money, but you need money, we need to know how you prioritize and where you expect to expend money and how much
Yeah.
we need to budget, so.
Well, and we will do that at the, you know, as we near the conclusion of this, because that's critical. I don't know how much the village, you remember it because you were instrumental in it originally. I don't know if there's cost to us for that. There could be.
Well, you have to,
There could be. You mean when the actual construction, if you, for instance, if you do sidewalks and
well, no,
streetlights
that's
and-
another type of grant, but I'm saying
That's right.
initially getting the designation, you're
Yeah.
gonna need somebody to help you write that, even though there was something written
Consultation.
before, I think you're gonna
Right.
have to do it all again,
Yeah,
and then you've gotta go up and be able to defend it in front of the committee. So you wanna
Right.
make sure all the ducks are in a row,
We've-
so they'll approve it.
we had started that process when Richard Amori came down here. And Julie and he drove around. She's updated maps, she's updated her photos. I think you stopped short of doing the application until the town plan was done because we can't have village designations without
Without
town
town
plans.
plan, that's right.
Yeah. And even though we have to redo the energy section that we have would still allow us deference with the Public Utilities Commission.
Good.
Perhaps not quite as much, but compared to what we have right now, which is zero, because we don't have a town plan, it's expired, we wouldn't have a leg to stand on if a big developer wanted to come in here and put something up on the mountains. So,
We have a town plan, but it doesn't meet the state requirements, because we approved to keep the plan.
we
right?
did, we
just rolled it
readopted,
over.
but we readopted, but it has expired.
Again, since the.
And you can't readopt it. You
But
can't
what?
readopt the readoption,
Okay,
I guess. We have no town plan right now.
Yeah.
We're one of 14% of towns in the state of Vermont that do not have a town
yeah,
plan.
14% out of
86,
200, yeah. there's a-
86 have them. And most of the ones that don't have them are so tiny and so small that it'd be a town plan for 12 people and 2 buildings.
Okay, so
I move to approve it.
you want to approve the expenditure
Yes, sir.
of $11,250. Got a motion, got a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion on this?
Is this an endless pit?
That's why I was
Are
asking
we
the
gonna
question.
get anything out of this in the end?
You're
We
gonna have
talk
a town
about
plan?
grants and stuff, you know, I mean, what are we gonna get? I don't see people flocking, you know, businesses. I know a guy that wants to open a business and the state's fighting him all the way.
Yeah.
So I don't know what your grants and stuff are. And I'd like to see some indication of that from somewhere else. Because, to me, this is more money and this has been going on. We've been dumping money into the plan and now, and when Mike Bratcher first came on, I was sitting there and heard him. Well, I can do this plan in a couple of weeks.
He didn't say for free.
He didn't say for free, but he didn't do it in a couple of weeks either.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks, you'd have to be a lawyer to get this kind of money. I mean, we've been keep bleeding it out there, and now this is not the end. We're gonna, you know, we only got so much money to spend in this town. I don't care what anybody thinks. We have a hard job getting people to pay their taxes now. You know, not everybody thinks it's rosy, and I see a lot of for sale signs. Business right over here for sale. A lot of for sale signs around the town. So, I mean, you know, we can price ourselves out of the village, so to speak, as far as I'm concerned. When a person comes in, buys a house, and puts $200,000-300,000 in it, and you ain't gonna get that in certain areas. In the villages, you ain't gonna get nothing. See what the prices are for these places. The places that they have sold over here, they wanted $250,000 for a place up there by Barber's Pond. They got 150.
Well, if I can
People are
answer
dropping
the
down.
beginning of your question, it's the village designations that would have state money and grant money available to start businesses, improve businesses, create jobs, make things safer and better in this community. And that's what this money goes
He said the
to.
same thing about the sewer project, not to interrupt. It was gonna bring business. It was gonna bring car washes. It was gonna have more people building. They'd want city sewer, all this kind of stuff. What's it done? Nothing. It's been even.
Dollar General.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the only thing. But it's been held even, and other places have closed.
Yep.
I mean, the thing on the sewer has not changed the amount of people. Everything is going up.
There are
All I'm
economic
afraid of,
challenges,
guys, is
no
that
doubt.
Yeah, well, you know, it's all right. $11,000, I'm not too concerned about the $11,000. But I'm concerned about how much more is it gonna cost and are we gonna get anything back?
Well, if we get that back, what I just said, and we can have that kind of development in those zones, if we can help stave off big wind and big power, then I think we get a lot out of this for the money that we're spending with professional counseling from the BCRC.
Yeah. I don't know, like I say, I'm the type of guy, if you don't have the money, it's kinda tough to spend it. You know? I mean, like I said, you milk this thing along some more. What I don't like about the thing is I read the Constitution, you know? I like life, liberty. We're losing liberty. I told you last night about the farmer. Got a whole bunch of property. What'd he say? You mean to tell me I can't do what I want with my property? I can't milk cows, I can't cut hay off it, it don't pay. I gotta do something else. I mean, I don't like the idea, first of all, of telling everybody what they can do and what they can't do, and then ask for more money to make more restrictions. We ain't gonna put no sidewalks in anywhere, we ain't got any money. You think we're gonna get grants for sidewalks for down there in South Pownal, maybe?
It's been done all over the state through the Village Designation Program. And when you listen to Richard Amori, who's been here twice, he can direct you to all the towns and municipalities where it's worked out very well. And you could talk to them, Ronnie.
Yeah.
You could ask them, what's that process like?
We'll have to ask them, I guess.
Yeah.
You know? But I mean, I asked the questions, the hard questions that a lot of people don't want to ask. They don't want to know. But there's a lot of people that have a lot of property, and they're very concerned about what's happening with this plan, telling them what they can do, what they can't do, how high
Ronnie,
they can go,
you said
how
at
low
every
they can
planning
go.
commission meeting, you
Correct.
know that the town plan doesn't tell people what they can do. The
It's a
zoning-
That's
vision.
what you keep saying.
Zoning might.
The zoning will.
Well, what you're talking about bylaws, once this goes in, Sid.
This is a vision for
See?
what the
It's a
town
vision.
ought
That's
to
what
be.
that's the only reason that I even listen to it. It's a vision, not a, and I don't want to scare everybody off.
It's not a
But-
regulation that says you
that
must.
You must, because that's not the way it should work.
Well, you won't see that in there either.
I hope not.
You know, people have stood up and said that.
Well,
at
had you been
meetings.
reading it, you wouldn't see it. You wouldn't see it.
Well, I
So-
have been reading it. It's just like, you know.
So it's a
am I
vision.
the only guy that gets people complaining? Must be. They must say, hey, I'll complain of that vision
I know a lot of people at the meeting
He'll
that-
speak up. He'll say
No, there were
something.
people that
Spoke
voiced
up.
some things about, making sure that our taxes don't go up, making sure that a plan like this and changes in bylaw doesn't create a situation where we're forced to tax more. It's obvious to us, the authors of this, that that's not only not the intent, it's just not in there. If anything, it's designed as a vision to ultimately have taxes go down and create jobs, ultimately. Now, it takes everybody working together to achieve that, no doubt. It takes those committees we're talking about to work on these various projects, environmental, economic, all of those things. But it's not going to be done overnight. So whether we're going to be back here again in a year or two as we're changing bylaws, I can almost guarantee we'll be back here again asking for more help.
Yeah, but,
Almost guarantee it.
but the key, one of the things that was clear, people voiced the concern that they would lose their homes or something else, and I think you've addressed
Yeah.
that in trying to make sure that this thing wasn't being written in a way to drive people out of town. What it was hoping
Right.
to do was to attract and change the town a little bit. And
Absolutely.
I think,
It's a big part of it.
and I'm one that criticizes bylaws a lot too. But the real thing is this is the vision that you will use to write your bylaws. So what you have in the town plan, when you have words like shall, must, those are the things you worry about what the next step is, because if it's saying you shall, then you're gonna do that in your bylaws, where you shall and must have to do this. I think those are the concerns that we as citizens need to be
Right.
concerned about.
Right.
Because I'm with you, Ronnie. I think people are more and more being told what the hell they can do with their property and what they can't do more than what they can do. And that to me just
Well, you can just picture for a minute, and I know some people here probably think it'd be all right to live in a town without bylaws.
oh, be worse. Much
Thanks.
worse.
Thanks. So we're not looking to make these broad changes to greatly adverse people's use of their property. We're doing this to make Pownal a better place, simple as
Well,
that.
see, the thing here, I'll give you an example, just for conversation. If a person buys a piece of property now in this state, the whole state's doing this stuff, you know? He wants to put some water in. First thing he's got to do is he has to contact the state.
Yeah.
Get a permit where he can put it,
Yeah.
and this and that.
Sewer
He has to
too,
get-
right?
Huh?
Sewer too, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to go through the state too.
Sewer I can understand.
Yeah.
But you put a sewer where, you know, where there's some material that'll absorb water.
Yeah.
But you don't drill a well where there ain't no water.
Right.
What I'm trying to say is, and it costs all kinds of money for this stuff to happen. And that's why people nowadays they're getting bitter about this.
Why does the state do that?
I have no idea. Why should the state do that? You're a lawyer, you ought to know. You're working in
As far
environmental.
as water,
You're working in
The
environmental and
state
all that
passed
stuff.
legislation which they own the water, so.
they own all the water underneath us, so they want to know where you're drilling on your own property.
Yeah, they want to build this table where they can keep track of where the water's
withdrawals.
being drawn. You
They
know,
did that a long time ago. And you know what? All the wells that in the last 20 years or better have a tag on them. They're all registered with the state.
That's right.
That's fine, but the homeowner said, I want it over there.
Yeah, they won't do that now.
Maybe he had a dowser come. The dowser says, you got a nice vein right there. And he didn't have to have no engineer tell him nothing. He had a well driller go over there, drill him the hole. You go on about your business. We're creating an atrocity here of spending tons of money. People can't afford that. Doesn't matter to me. I ain't got much time left. But, you know what I mean? People can't afford that stuff. There's
It's
a lot
not the
people out
intent
there,
of
they
this
can't-
planning commission to
Hasten your death.
hasten your death. Number one,
I think it is.
I like that we're on the record having said that. Will that hold up in a court of law if
We're
he
on the record as saying
mysteriously
we're not
disappears?
seeking to hasten his death.
Geez, didn't Ronnie go to Alaska? No one's seen
He got a
him.
lot of rest. He's got a lot of energy there.
I beat that horse to death, I guess. I still.
Right.
Well, the
See,
As they say-
what irks me the most about everything to do with this political arena and all that stuff, and the government, the state of Vermont especially, we can't go back. You know, if you had a successful thing, there's no harm in backing up a couple steps. You know, there's places that have had very good success. They don't have to keep moving so far forward that they get themselves in trouble. It's like a person that goes in and gets a job. He'll strive and strive and strive till he gets a job he can't do. That's what they do. That's human nature. Now the state's pushing that upon people. You know, you got to have this, you got to have that, and then the towns are feeding right off it. BCRC, you know, the only reason we got Dollar General is because Bennington didn't want any more dollar stores. They already had 3. BCRC, I'll go to Pownal. That's why we got it. People that listen a little bit different than just listening to the representatives they send. There's other people that have some knowledge that tell you this kind of stuff. They won't because they're politically either fence riding or they're whatever they want. Maybe they want to, go on to a bigger, better thing. Maybe they'll run against Trump or something. I don't know.
Okay. Well, we're not here to discuss politics.
yeah,
That's right. We're not.
All the question.
Yeah. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. You're taken care of. You're all set, guys. Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much.
And the price of success
There you go.
was not killing Ronnie.
Thanks.
Thank you.
God bless you all.
employees, everybody's laughing, going out the door.
Yeah, employee, moving on, guys.
The planning commission, we laughed the other night.
Employee valuations,
Now, wait a minute,
We're
I
just
gotta
gonna do a
find- I gotta
discussion.
find
Thank
my
you all.
paper.
all right,
Bye,
Thanks a
Sarah.
lot.
thanks,
Keep
guys.
smiling.
No doubt about it.
Did they
Attaboy.
say that he had to reapply, or just that he had to give a drawing?
Reapply and give you.
Okay.
I asked for the evaluations to be put on the agenda because it occurred to me that didn't seem like we had done evaluations since I've been on the board for about a year and a half, and I wondered when they were due, which prompted me to look at our town personnel policy, which I remembered that we haven't finished working on. And when I went to the town fair last week with everybody up in Killington, I was able to meet with Jill Muir, the Director of Human Resources, and she sent me a copy of a model personnel policy that I think that, not tonight, but when we have a chance, that we should look at and decide if we want to customize it to fit our town and adopt it as our own. It includes instructions on how to customize this model policy, the process for adopting a personnel policy, steps to take after the policy is adopted. And we're always welcome to call the VLCT Municipal Assistance Center if we have questions about this model or its provisions. And I have a copy of it here somewhere. But it's my feeling that maybe we should take a look at it, make copies for everybody, take a look at it, talk about it, see if we want to adopt it, and then we can research the section on evaluations. Evaluations to me is a nice tool for people to use, employees, employers to use on, help people with their strengths, their weaknesses, their goals, where they're going. So, that's my take.
Did they, do you know if they provide you with sample evaluations?
I don't. I didn't check on the evaluation end of it, but it's, we'll have to look at the personnel policy model a little bit more. Our policy is very small, it's 2 pages,
Does
and it
talk
says
about
nothing about evaluations.
The last time we did it was a generic,
Evaluation.
just a, yeah, it was pretty much the employees self-evaluated themselves.
And this policy was dated February 20th, 2014.
I have a yearly evaluation this time. I assume you have
Yeah.
one.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
just got done with mine. That's what prompted me to think about it.
Yeah, I guess I would ask you to ask if they have sample evaluations for town employees.
Mm-hmm.
Just because if that's what we're
I'm sure
thinking
they,
of.
I'm sure they do.
Let's do something that's common in
I
most
can have
towns.
Jill send me some.
Okay.
And then,
And I think it's important too that we have, obviously we have different types of employees. We have employees that work under the supervision of a foreman or a chief operator. I think we need to make sure it's an evaluation that they could use as a tool also, you know, with their employee. Not just
so
ourselves.
do we agree that we want to put this on a future agenda?
It's okay
Sure.
with me, sure.
Yes.
Okay. The rest of you, comments?
I never worked anywhere where they had an evaluation. They either told you you were a good man or you weren't. That's how it worked.
Yeah.
I guess I'm before this
Yeah,
time. but
before
now
this, feel good.
This feel good, you know, please and thank you when the boss talks to you. Never had that stuff.
Do you,
And they
John?
didn't have to tell me I did a good job. They said, you know, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah,
That's
do
how it
you-
is.
yeah, otherwise I won't
That's
see you
right.
tomorrow.
Well, that's it. But I mean, this stuff, yeah, which is fine, and we had our employees evaluate themselves. And I think right now, as a town, I think we got a great group of employees. That's my personal opinion. I can't even find any fault. But of course, I ain't looking for it, but
Yeah.
still, I can't find any. I think
Things are getting
our
done.
crews are working good. Things are kind of smooth.
Well, it's a tool that works both ways. It works for the employee too. As their goals on continuing education, on anything they want to talk to their supervisor about. It's a good tool for everyone.
Okay, well, we're gonna put it on the, a future agenda. Okay, moving on. Town administrator. What was this?
We talked at our business meeting, or on our, what do we call it? Not a business
Budget.
meeting. No, our special meeting
Special.
about the town administrator position. And I sent everybody around the letter from Vermont Leagues of Cities and Towns from the lawyer. Abby Friedman. And our discussion at our meeting was that we cannot hire a town administrator without a vote of the town. We did have a vote of the town, and we discussed it and felt it was an advisory vote. But the state statute says, and everybody should have a copy of this letter. I gave them at their last, and I emailed them to them. This is from the lawyer Carl Andier, the Vermont Leagues of Cities and Towns. And according to state statute, we don't need a vote of the town. Statute 24 VSA Section 872, Select Board General Powers and Duties. The Select Board shall have the general supervision of the affairs of the town and shall cause to be performed all duties required of towns and town school districts not committed by law to the care of any particular officer. Which means we don't need a vote of the town. A town manager would be different, and it's a whole different beast. And you have all this information in the email that I sent to you. So, that's where we stand on that, but I think we may wanna have a discussion or take a vote on whether we want to proceed
Well,
with hiring a town administrator, not a town manager. Because we've put a lot of work in for the past year, and I think we should see where we're at before we go any further.
well, it's obvious that we had a vote of the town. It said, shall the town of Pownal voters approve the hiring of a town administrator or manager to work under the direction of the Board of Selectmen? Can't be any more clearer than the fact that it says, shall the voters approve the hiring of? And they voted yes. So as far as that goes, I think the town has given direction to this board to at least look to do that and make a decision at that time based on who you interview, because let's face it, we might interview and find out that it's not what we want. It's we're trying to guess what a town administrator will do or so forth. Let's find out what it is we're talking about. We've had people come down here and tell us how wonderful it is that they got this one or that one doing such and such a things. But as far as the town telling us, they've told us. All you gotta do is look at what the vote count was and what the question was. Now it's up to us to either do what the voters say or ignore them. And I think at this point, they've told us to at least, show the town of Pownal voters approve the hiring of a town administrator to work under us. That can't be any clearer. I wanna know what the heck I'm gonna have working for me. So I'm willing to go and listen to some people or come up with a job description, have them come and tell me what the heck, because there's gonna probably be people that's done it elsewhere, tell us what they're gonna do for me. And then I'll make a decision whether or not I wanna hire someone. But at least I'll take the step that they've asked me to. That's where I stand with that. But that means you gotta come up with a job description, you gotta come up with how many hours you want a person to work. There's a lot of homework you gotta do.
And I think we need it in the minutes that we have voted on it, once we take a vote, and see where we stand. And if it passes, then we can't go any farther unless we take a vote.
Take a
See
vote
where
on
we
what's your
stand.
motion? What do you want a motion to be?
I make a motion that we proceed and hire a town administrator.
Get a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Discussion, guys.
Well, I got some real problems. Of course, I've discussed everything tonight, but I got some real problems with that because, first of all, we got some real problems in this town that need to be addressed before we think about hiring somebody to run this town. That's the first thing, as far as I'm concerned. We got some limbo issues. Them things should be cleaned up. And I got a problem with how much money this is gonna cost. And I got a problem with who's it gonna displace, if people are gonna be displaced. This stuff has to be, as far as I'm concerned, has to be decided long before we say, well, we're definitely gonna hire somebody. Because if somebody comes in, so, we're gonna have to pay them $75,000 or whatever. And, well, you're gonna save this by firing this one or that one or whatever. That issue's gotta be, I think, ironed out. And we also gotta get out of the quandary. I wanna hear from our lawyer on that other thing. There's a lot of problems. I think now is not the time, for me anyway, to be putting, and if anybody knew all the problems, they wouldn't even take the job right now.
Well,
Unless it was cleaned up. Let's clean up the issues.
And it'd be unfair of us not to tell them all the
Absolutely,
problems.
absolutely. That's,
You know?
that's my point. I mean, I don't care if the town wants to go that route, but see, on this thing where it says, shall we, have a town admin, they didn't say nothing about no price or nothing.
Oh, no.
They say nothing about no price,
No. But we don't
These
need,
issues.
but according to state statute, we don't need a vote of the town. We
I know
don't
that,
have to.
which I'm agreeing with that. I don't care about that. But I
we
think the
as-
town, I'm not gonna vote for one until that, I feel that the town has to tell, I need a little advice from the people. I'm sorry, I'm not a mayor or a king or anything else. If the people are, and all right, they, like I say, we did have a vote, and, but if this thing, there's too many things there involved right now for this to go forward at this time, I think. I mean, if you wanna say, yeah, let's research it, fine.
Well,
Let's
that's what
find
the
out how much money to get.
The motion was for just that,
Right.
too.
Let's research it, that's fine.
Because-
But let's clean up our act, and then I agree with you 100%. You gotta talk to somebody.
That's right.
What are you gonna do for us? Can you do anything for us?
Exactly, and that's why
These empty promises.
the lawyer has advised us that we need to take a vote of this board right now to decide if we're going to proceed. Then we have to come up with a job description, we have to come up with a plan, we have to come up with whether we reorganize, how we're gonna pay the person. We are gonna decide that, not them. We
That's
are.
us. We gotta, well, all we're doing here is,
We are.
if I understand this vote, all it is saying that the board will discuss this.
Right.
It will work on job descriptions and discuss expenses. This does not say that, once we get through discussing that, we might say, hey, we can't afford this.
Right. The lawyer can't come up with an ad or anything unless we decide all this and get back to her. She can't do anything anymore.
Yeah, so,
We haven't
I
even
got no
decided if
problem
it's
with
gonna be
that.
a full-time or a part-time
Right.
position. We've been talking about this for 2 years,
Right,
Ronnie.
and we've got a
been,
lot
like,
of
dragging
decisions
our
to make
feet.
on it, but it's our decision.
yeah,
Right.
what the motion basically says is that we're gonna make it an agenda item and we're gonna deal with it. Like you said, there's so many things up in the air. It
As
basically
soon as
says,
this, all the air is cleared and we figure out what's happening,
They've also
Great.
suggested that we check with the town administrator in Vernon, Vermont, which just hired an administrator, and they recommend that we take a look at their job description and possibly bring them over to talk to us if that's what we want to do.
well, I think the first things that I'm hearing is we as a board will make a motion that we go forward, which we have, but we as a board then need to have a personnel discussion on pay, what we're
Correct.
really looking to do, because Ronnie asked a couple of good questions. Are we looking to replace? Are we looking to get assistance? What are we doing?
Right.
let's
That-
lay that all out so that we
Right.
understand it. Then we move forward. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
I don't like moving forward and we don't know what's happening here. This thing,
Right.
if we're gonna spend 75 and we gotta spend another 50 over here for that and something else, people say, what are you, nuts? Up there?
Yeah, what bottomless pit of money, and you see?
Which, I got nothing against. I do realize that there's a lot involved, and it's a lot different than what it was years ago. The states pushed down all this stuff, And you got, well, we heard a lot of it right there with the planning and all that.
Right.
With the BCRC and the transfer station, all that stuff. It's an
Okay.
awful lot of government.
Well, Abby Friedman is the lawyer I've been speaking to up there, and she has, I believe I gave you this in your packets quite a while ago, on her thoughts on where we are now and what we have to do in order to proceed. But I wanted to clear up because we talked about a town vote at our last meeting, and I wanted to clear up that the state statute says we don't have to have a vote, even though we
I
have
think-
one.
I think I'm hearing that we all understand that, but at the same time, we have a fear of what's this gonna cost and what is this position really gonna be described as and so forth, which is different than saying the town must vote on it.
Right,
We need to better understand what we're looking for and what this thing is gonna really be once
Exactly.
it gets together.
Exactly.
Before we run an ad. And that's what I
Exactly.
think the motion's for.
and I'm just trying to follow the proper procedures.
So with that, I'm calling the motion. All those in favor to proceed?
Repeat the motion, will you, what we're doing?
Proceed and hire a town manager.
Proceed in hiring an assistant town manager. No,
Looking
not town,
into
no,
it or
not town
hiring?
manager, not town manager,
No,
not town manager.
no, you gotta do something else.
It's an assistant town administrator. A town manager is a whole nother
Yeah,
ball
I
of
know.
wax, and you have to do a charter and
It's a
everything
town
else.
Proceed with
A
the,
town manager.
so you say
It's not an
proceed,
assistant, it's a town.
proceed with the process? Is that what you're
No.
saying?
Gonna
Proceed with the process of hiring
Yes,
an assistant? Okay, assistant with, it's not a
a
town
town
manager,
administrator.
a town administrator. Okay, that's what we're gonna do is, so the motion is to proceed with that process, to hire a town administrator.
Right.
Okay. Everybody understand the motion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Takes care of that. Okay,
put
moving
that in
on.
there.
Sorry to keep you so long.
That's fine.
I don't see the other party. Did she call or? No.
Before we proceed with that, I was going to suggest that if, once we can do this meeting on the personnel policy, I don't know if we need a separate meeting for both, but maybe we could have a work session for the personnel policy and the administrator to work on it together
When do you
at some
want
point.
this?
Well, we don't know if we're gonna have the wastewater meeting, so I don't know.
Well, we're gonna go look at some
We're gonna go
roads if
look
we
at
don't have
roads
the
that night.
wastewater meeting.
Yeah,
I guess, and get that out of the way. We
Yeah.
gotta, like Jason said, we gotta finish something. I don't care what we finish.
I
Let's
think
finish
that
something.
if
we have.
I
We got
think-
we got our website,
Well,
we got our
but I
new
like the fact
roads,
that we
our
have
roads
this
are
fourth,
paved.
we have this fourth meeting where we have an options. I like that in the month. So if we find that out, I think we have already decided we're gonna go check the roads. There's only two we gotta check, folks.
Shit.
And then we'll come back here, and if, if it only takes us a half hour, I guess we could cover some of the other stuff if you want. What are you looking for, to do this that night?
It's up to the board.
You know,
I'd like to, it just seems like some of these things we've been working on for so long.
Right.
We need to like,
Well,
somehow or
well,
another, try to
well,
get
let's
some
bu-
We
closure
could,
to
we
some of
could do that
these.
evaluation thing, and also we could.
No, we're not
we
gonna
could-
do the evaluation until we do the personnel policy. We're gonna do the policy first.
Well,
Then we
whatever,
can do it.
do something, get it done and move on to the next thing.
then we can move on to the evaluation.
Glad to hear it. Thank you.
Yeah,
All right, so let's do that. We're gonna go 6 o'clock is when I'm hoping to be able to meet. That's when we know when he met for
All right.
the wastewater. We'll
And do
drive
the
down,
personnel policy.
look at the two roads. They're pretty close to each other. And then we'll come from there back here and do that.
go through that stuff and get that out of the way.
Yep.
And that's all we'll have in a special meeting, is those
Yep.
two things.
Right. How about if why don't you take a motion that you're going to, for next meeting, make a formal motion at that meeting,
Because we'll have the information.
because you'll have the information of what
Yeah, because
that-
we have to
You have to
inspect
make a motion in order to proceed.
inspect that road. Yeah, okay. Yeah, because we have to have it down in the minutes and we have to notify.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, so you make sure that that gets on the agenda for next week, once you know for sure. All right, with that,
Move to go into executive for
access issues,
access and land.
all those in favor say aye.
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 Did you get a second? I'll second it.
Take a
I didn't hear a second, but,
I didn't either, that's why I
It'll
was
be-
looking, I was like,
yeah.